All right, let's take a look at the AFC East, Sam. At the top, I couldn't always do this in the summer. I couldn't just start with the Jets as the favorite because it was split. But now you look across the market and there's a bit of a consensus. It's the Jets as the AFC East favorite at plus 165, win total between 9.5 and 10.5, 20-1 to win the Super Bowl. Buffalo Bills, second favorite, we'll call it plus 195. Again, that win total, it's frustrating how they do it now. You can go over 9.5 or under 10.5. 17 to 1 to win the Super Bowl, a shorter number than the Jets. The third favorite, Miami Dolphins, plus 225, 9.5. Very close win totals between those top three teams. Dolphins 25-1 on the Super Bowl, and sitting in the basement, far, far away with the lowest win total in the NFL, the only 4.5 out there. That belongs to New England, 28-1 for the division, 300-1 for the Super Bowl. Let's just start with the Patriots. Let's get them out of the way. That's the team you've been covering for a number of years. You're in the area. So a lot of the chatter was on how good that defense was last year, but you lose Belichick, and now you end up losing Judon. So much chatter about, oh, well, they were so great without Judon, and you're going to get him back. Well, they trade him away to the Falcons. Gerard Mayo running the show. It's been really tough, Sam, for me to try to figure out, and we are just guessing, but that downgrade at head coach, or with the version of Belichick that we saw in the last year or so, was it a big downgrade? What's your thought process with the head coaching change?
Huge drop-off schematically. And I was actually talking with our friend Eric Eager, who now works in the NFL, and he had compiled a list of coaching values. How much is Coach X worth? And remember, when you have these conversations, whether it be a player or a coach, you are comparing them to the market average. And they had figured out or calculated that Bill Belichick was worth 2 points above the average coach. The average coach. What if Gerard Mayo is a moron? The gap gets bigger. And maybe Belichick is worth, it's hard to say that a coach is worth 3, but he had everybody in the right spots defensively. And he knew how to scheme against everybody. Remember that game when Brady came back to Foxborough and the line opened 5.5, and it crashed down to 3.5. And I believe the Buccaneers won on a missed field goal by Nick Folk. Patriots won by 2 or 3. Or Patriots lost by 2 or 3. Buccaneers won. So confusing when you think about Brady being in Tampa. But the Pats covered that game because of Belichick. The Pats were in a lot of games without Brady because of Belichick. And I think it's almost impossible to quantify the gap between the greatest coach to ever do it and an unproven rookie head coach. I don't think we could put a number on it. I think it's weird to say 3.5 because he's not on the field. He doesn't touch the ball. But what if Gerard Mayo has no clue how to scheme, how to make adjustments, Joe? Because Belichick would have a game plan, a lot like Saban, and if the game plan didn't work and they got hit in the mouth, he would change it at the half. What if Gerard Mayo doesn't do that? They also, the Patriots, lost their best defensive player. Matthew Judon is in Atlanta now. So the pass rush gets weaker, the linebackers get weaker, and the secondary gets weaker. Not to mention, they've lost, 2 or 3 offensive linemen in the preseason. They still don't know whether they're going to go with the vet who kind of stinks in Brissett or the rookie in Drake May. You have nothing at wide receiver. I know it's sort of popular to say the Patriots are going to be the worst team in the NFL, but they are. They were so good for 20 years, and now they're going to suck. And the people out here in Boston, they can't fathom being bad. Sports Talk Radio, they're going to win at least 7. In what world are they winning 7 games this year? The talent has slowly declined, and now Belichick is gone. Who's going to save the lunch?
In addition to what you just said, they have one of the hardest schedules in the NFL. They are favored in a grand total of 0 games, but the win total's 4.5, juice to the over. Yeah, juice to the over. How do we get to 5? I can't even come close to getting to 5. Can you?
There's a 5 in Vegas, 5 under minus 150.
But
So,
where are the 5 possible wins with this
well,
schedule?
imagine going over 5 is what I'm saying. Then you need to win
Yeah.
6 because 5 is going to tie. I would never, ever, ever bet over 5. I think the
No.
only thing that has me a little reserved is that everybody is saying the same thing, that they're going to be so
I
bad
know.
and that they're only going to win 2 games. And how many clips have we seen of people saying to bet them to be the worst team? Look, the Giants could be the worst team. Um, I don't think the Cardinals are in that conversation anymore. But a team like Pittsburgh could be the worst team if everything goes to hell there with Fields and with Russell Wilson. The Panthers could be the worst team. There are several teams that could challenge New England for being the worst team. But if we just put the Patriots on a platform under the spotlight and examine the patient, I'm with you. It's under or pass. I am not going to get cute and think that, well, I'm going to fade the room and take the over. Rookie head coach, rookie quarterback comes in eventually. No line, no receivers, and a rookie head coach.
Nothing.
Ugh,
Lot
no.
a lot of the possible wins are on the road too. Tennessee, Chicago, Arizona late in the year. Week 2 versus Seattle. Maybe you can do that. That one's a home game, maybe. But again, like possibilities, I can get to 5. Okay, you're asking them to win them all. So I just don't see.
Well, and think
I
about
just don't
this
see it.
too.
Yeah,
New England has beat the crap out of everybody for 15 to 20 years. I mean, go back to the first Super Bowl with Brady in 2001. They have pounded everybody, not just AFC teams. They've beaten the NFC teams because they've played basically everybody in 20 years. How many teams do you think are ready to get their licks in on a downtrodden Patriots team? You think teams are going to
hmm
let up on New England after everything New England has done to them?
on the same page with New England. Let's go to the very top here. With it's been back and forth. Jets and the Bills. Much of the offseason, the Bills were favored at most places because they have the best quarterback in the division. That has now flipped, I'd say. The Jets are now the favorite. What I find interesting, Sam, is when you look at the early lines for the entire season, is okay, the Jets are now the favorite that, or they're like tied, right? The Jets are dogs 3 times this year. The Bills, numbers wise, right there, they're dogs 6 times. Double it. Do you think the Jets should be favored in the AFC East?
I could go either way. I mean, I think they should
Yeah.
both be around plus 175. Depending on the book, MGM's got the Jets 160, the Bills 180. It's going to be one of those two teams. I think Miami showed a lot of its flaws last year, especially in the postseason. Granted, they had to go to Kansas City. It was like 2 degrees outside. But
Yeah.
Miami is sort of regular season tough. And then postseason, meh, they're okay in the postseason. I think they line up better in the regular season because they show you everything. McDaniel empties the clip by week 12. Everything's on film. And then when they get to the postseason, you can figure out basically what they're going to do. And then in the postseason, you can double Tyreek Hill and make other guys beat you in Miami. It was very simple how Kansas City figured them out. I was looking at this bet. I think it's a very coin flippy division in terms of who's going to win it. I think it's between
hmm
Buffalo and New York. Let me raise you this conversation. MGM has a lot of these markets. You can bet the division that will win the Super Bowl. AFC East 6-1. So the West is 4-1. At which point, just bet Kansas City at 6-1. Right? Why would you bet the West when you could just bet Kansas City? Because no other
Because
team is
Matthew
winning the Super
Friedman
Bowl out
thinks
of
the
the West.
Chargers are.
He even admitted that wasn't going to win, which I thought was a
Yes.
bold take. So the AFC West is 4-1. The NFC North is 5-1. AFC North 5-1 as well, and then the AFC East is 6-1. You get the Bills and the Jets, and they don't even have to win the game, Joe. They just have to make a run. What if the Jets or the Bills make the AFC Championship? and you're holding a 6-1 ticket on the division to win the trophy. I think that's a very decent bet.
I've fallen in love with the Bills way too many times. I'll go over. I understand why you would make that argument because you have the quarterback, but everything else around the quarterback this year, I'm not buying into it. I think they need to reload. So in the end, yeah, you mentioned some of the reasons why you don't want to bet on the Dolphins to do anything big as far as futures wise, like regular season, cool. Um, in the end, I think the only true Super Bowl contender here is the Jets. So I would not make that bet. But if there is a division where you think there's a couple legit options, then it is worth something. Quickly mention Miami, bump slayers, right? You're bad. They're like Penn State in the NFL. You're bad. They're going
Ooh,
to
I
smoke
like
you.
that. I like
and
that.
then when they face tough teams, no chance. When they have to level up, they've had a lot of issues. Now, I will say when things fell apart at the end of the season, majority of their offensive line was down, and they were missing some key cogs on defense. But now Christian Wilkins is no longer there. Fangio out, Anthony Weaver in. They're going to be more aggressive style-wise on defense. But yeah, regular season, you can buy into the Dolphins a little bit. I'm not going to buy into them winning this division. The entire secondary is gone for the Bills. And I know they've missed so many guys, especially last year on defense, a lot of key guys, but you're replacing an entire secondary. And now the guy that makes everything go on defense, Milano's out indefinitely again. So I'm
Mhm.
going to have a really tough time buying into the Bills. Uh, Tough schedule too. I don't know that Joe Brady's the guy like they think he is. When he came in for Ken Dorsey in the middle of last season, and it leaves me with the Jets. They've got an easy schedule, talent everywhere. I understand why people say, "Oh, if Rodgers can stay healthy, if Rodgers can stay healthy." If he doesn't, they at least have a legitimate backup that's not named Zach Wilson anymore. And if it's for a short period of time, due to the talent they have at every level, both offensively and defensively, I think they're just going to be fine. We'll see if Hassan Reddick's going to end up playing this year. If he does, Sam, that D line got better. They're going to be
Mhm.
nasty. Everybody just talks about Rodgers, but the talent they have everywhere else is disgusting.
They didn't really plan for the alternative last year at quarterback, huh? Zach
Mm-mm.
Wilson, Trevor Simeon, meow, Tim Boyle. They didn't plan
Bad.
for Armageddon, and they were big time in trouble when that happened.